The stars looked different tonight. Captain Jake pressed his face against the observation window of the International Space Station and watched the darkness beyond Neptune. Something was moving out there, something that shouldn't be there. The readings on his screen showed energy patterns that made no sense. "Control, this is. Are you seeing these numbers?" Jake spoke into his headset, trying to keep his voice steady. Down on Earth, Dr. Lisa Warren was having the same problem. She sat in the control room of the new radio telescope facility in Rico, staring at signals that seemed impossible. The patterns were too organized to be natural, too complex to be random noise from space. "These aren't coming from any satellite we know about," Lisa told her assistant Mark. She pointed at the green lines dancing across her computer screen. "Look at this pattern. It repeats every 12 minutes exactly. Nature doesn't work like that." Mark leaned over her shoulder. "Could it be from another country? Maybe the Chinese have something we don't know about." Lisa shook her head. "No, Mark, this is coming from outside our solar system, way outside." She felt a chill run down her spine. "I think someone is trying to talk to us." 3,000 miles away, General Pete Collins was not having a good day. The screens in the NORAD command center showed the same strange signals that everyone else was picking up. His team of analysts looked confused and worried. "Sir, we've been tracking these signals for 6 hours now," said Lieutenant Sarah. "They're definitely artificial. Someone or something is broadcasting them toward Earth." General Collins rubbed his tired eyes. "Have we figured out what they're saying?" "The math team thinks they've cracked part of it," Sarah replied. "It looks like a warning, something about territory and inhabited space, like someone put up a keep out sign in space." But the warning wasn't meant for humans. Far beyond the edge of the solar system, Admiral of the Collective read the same signals on his ship's displays. His 6 eyes showed annoyance as he looked at the data. "Automated defense beacons," he said to his second in command. "These primitives think their simple broadcasts will keep us away." Commander H clicked his mandibles in what passed for laughter among his species. "Shall we disable them, Admiral? It would take only moments." "No need," replied. "Let them waste their energy. Our scouts report this species hasn't even left their home system yet. They have no real weapons, no unified government. This will be easier than conquering the crystal farmers of Rigel 7. Back on Earth, Lisa Warren worked through the night trying to decode more of the strange signals. Her computer translated fragments that made her hands shake as she typed. "Warning, inhabited system, sentient species present, approach with diplomatic contact only." The words appeared on her screen letter by letter. "Military action against protected species prohibited under Galactic Accord 7742. Lisa stood up so fast her chair fell over. Mark, get in here right now." Her assistant ran into the room. "What is it, Dr. Warren?" "We're not alone," Lisa whispered, "and someone out there is trying to protect us." The message continued to decode. Species classification, early space development phase, territorial boundaries extend to third orbital body. Any violation will result in defensive action. Lisa grabbed her phone and dialed the emergency number for NASA headquarters. "This is Dr. Warren at Arecibo Station 2. I need to speak to Director Johnson right now. We have a Code 7 situation." But they weren't listening to the warnings. Admiral studied the holographic display showing Earth's solar system. His scouts had been watching the blue planet for months, taking careful notes about human technology and military capabilities. "They have chemical rockets that barely reach their own moon," reported Scout Leader Al. "Their weapons are primitive explosive devices. Their largest military vessels couldn't survive in deep space for more than a few cycles." "What about their population?" asked. "Divided into hundreds of competing groups. They fight each other more than they cooperate. No central authority, no unified command structure. The conquest should take no more than 20 standard days. Made his decision. Signal the fleet. We move to Phase 2, begin the approach. On the space station, Jake watched his instruments go crazy. New contacts were appearing on his radar, dozens of them, moving toward Earth faster than anything humans had ever built. "Houston, we have a big problem up here," Jake said into his radio. "I'm tracking multiple bogies inbound from the outer system. They're moving at incredible speed." The voice from Houston crackled with static. "Repeat that. Did you say multiple contacts?" "Affirmative. I count at least 15 large objects. They're not showing any identification signals, and they're not responding to our hails." General Collins received the call 20 minutes later. He listened to the report from space and felt his stomach drop. "How long until they reach Earth?" "At their current speed, maybe 72 hours, sir." Collins looked around the command center at his staff. Some of them were young, barely out of college. Others had served for decades but had never faced anything like this. None of them had trained for alien invasion. "Get me the president on the line," Collins ordered. "Then contact all NATO commanders and the heads of the other space agencies. If these visitors aren't friendly, we're going to need everyone working together." Dr. Lisa Warren was still at her radio telescope when the new signals started coming in. These weren't warnings anymore. They were tactical communications between the approaching ships, and her computer was beginning to translate them. "Target confirmation, third planet, 7 billion inhabitants, resistance capability, minimal, prepare for standard occupation protocol." Lisa's blood ran cold. She picked up her emergency phone and dialed the direct line to the Pentagon. "This is Dr. Warren. I need to speak to someone in command authority right now. The signals we've been tracking, they're not here to say hello. They're here to invade." The operator tried to calm her down. "Ma'am, I need you to slow down and explain what you mean by invade." "I mean they're coming to take over our planet," Lisa shouted, "and they think it's going to be easy." High above Earth, Jake continued his watch. The alien ships were getting closer, and their energy signatures were unlike anything in human technology. But something else worried him more than their advanced weapons or faster-than-light travel. From the intercepted communications his equipment was picking up, it was clear that these invaders had made one crucial mistake. They had studied human technology and human governments, but they had never bothered to understand what humans were really like. They thought Earth would surrender quickly because humans seemed divided and primitive. They expected a short war against a weak enemy. They had no idea what humans could do when their backs were against the wall. The fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond the moon. 15 massive ships hung in space like dark metal mountains, each one larger than anything humans had ever built. Their weapons powered up with a low hum that traveled through space as electromagnetic waves. Fleet Commander stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the small blue planet through the. His tactical display showed hundreds of tiny human vessels scrambling like insects disturbed from their nest. "Begin standard occupation protocol," ordered. "Target their major population centers. Show them our power. They will surrender within hours." Lieutenant Colonel Amy Foster sat in the Space Force Command Center deep underground in Colorado. Around her, dozens of technicians worked frantically at their computers. The screens showed everything humanity could put into space racing toward the alien fleet. "How many ships do we have?" Amy asked her aide. 47 combat-capable vessels," came the reply. "Most of them are converted mining ships and cargo haulers. We have 3 actual military spacecraft." Amy closed her eyes for a moment. 47 ships against 15 alien vessels that were each 10 times larger than Earth's biggest warship. The math was not good. "Get me Admiral Rick Hayes on the USS Defiance," she ordered. The main screen flickered, showing the bridge of humanity's most advanced warship. Admiral Hayes looked tired but determined. Behind him, his crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. "Amy, I'm not going to lie to you," Hayes said. "We're by about 1,000 to 1, but my people are ready to fight." "What's your plan, Rick?" Hayes managed a grim smile. "Hit them fast, hit them hard, and pray they're not expecting us to be completely insane." On Luna Base, Commander Tony Blake gathered his small team of volunteers. They stood in the cramped briefing room of the Moon mining station, looking at the tactical display that showed the alien fleet moving toward Earth. "We have 12 mining shuttles and a pile of nuclear charges left over from the asteroid mining project," Tony said. "Command wants us to delay the enemy fleet as long as possible." One of his pilots, a young woman named Kelly, raised her hand. "Sir, those shuttles aren't armed. They're not even armored." Tony nodded. "That's right. We're going to strap the nuclear devices to the shuttles and ram them into the alien ships." The room went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. This was a one-way mission. "I'm not ordering anyone to do this," Tony continued. "But if we don't slow them down, Earth won't have time to prepare its defenses." Every hand in the room went up. The first battle began near the Moon. The ships moved in perfect formation, their weapons charging for a demonstration bombardment of Earth's major cities. They expected the human vessels to keep their distance and send surrender messages. Instead, 12 small mining shuttles came screaming toward them at maximum acceleration. "What are they doing?" Commander H asked on the flagship. "Those vessels cannot possibly damage our ships." Fleet Commander on watched the tactical display with growing confusion. "Perhaps it is some sort of greeting ritual. Their technology is so primitive they may not understand our capabilities." The first shuttle reached the lead vessel and detonated its nuclear charge against the alien ship's hull. The explosion was small compared to the size of the ship, but it left a burning crater in the metal plating. "They're attacking us," H shouted in surprise. Before they could react, 11 more shuttles slammed into their ships. Nuclear fire bloomed in the darkness of space. 2 of the alien vessels lost power and began drifting. A third ship's weapon systems went offline. Commander Tony Blake piloted the last shuttle personally. He aimed for the flagship's main weapon array and pushed his small craft to maximum speed. In his final transmission to Earth, he said simply, "Tell my wife I love her." The nuclear explosion tore a hole in the flagship's primary gun deck. Fires spread through the alien ship's corridors as emergency systems tried to contain the damage. Fleet Commander On pulled himself up from the deck where the explosion had thrown him. Green blood ran from a cut on his forehead. Around him, his bridge crew worked to restore their systems. "Damage report," he demanded. 17% of our fleet is damaged," came the reply. 2 ships have lost main power. The humans destroyed themselves to attack us." On stared at the tactical display. In his long military career, he had conquered dozens of worlds. Never had he seen a species sacrifice themselves in such numbers during the first engagement. Most civilizations at least tried to negotiate before dying. Back on Earth, Dr. Maria Santos worked in an underground laboratory beneath the ruins of MIT. Her team was examining pieces of alien metal that had broken off during the lunar battle. The fragments had been collected by recovery drones and rushed to her facility. "This is incredible," Maria told her assistant, Dr. Park. "Their technology is advanced, but it's also predictable. Look at these crystal matrices. They're designed for efficiency, not adaptability." Dr. Park studied the alien metal under a microscope. "What does that mean for us?" "It means they build their weapons and ships to fight other advanced civilizations," Maria explained. "They're not ready for enemies who fight dirty." Meanwhile, Admiral Hayes led the Earth fleet in a running battle with the damaged ships. His vessels darted between asteroids and space debris, using hit-and-run tactics that frustrated the alien commanders. "Sir, we can't win a straight fight," his tactical officer reported, "but we can make them pay for every mile they advance." Hayes watched as one of his converted cargo ships rammed an alien vessel, both ships exploding in a ball of fire. "That's exactly what we're going to do, make them pay." The regrouped and continued toward Earth, but their confidence was shaken. Fleet Commander On sent a message to his superiors, human resistance stronger than expected, requesting additional support. The response came back quickly, support unavailable, complete mission with current forces. On looked at his damaged fleet and wondered what other surprises the humans might have waiting. His species had rules about warfare, codes of conduct that had been followed for thousands of years. The humans seemed to have no such rules. As the alien fleet approached Earth's atmosphere, Lieutenant Colonel Amy Foster prepared the planet's final defenses. She had no idea if humanity could win this war, but she knew they would make the invaders regret starting it. In space above, the burning wreckage of human and alien ships drifted in the darkness, a grim preview of the battle to come. The ships landed in 12 major cities around Earth. Their massive hulls crushed buildings and streets as they settled onto the ground like metal mountains. Within hours, alien soldiers poured out of the ships and began setting up control zones. Fleet Commander On expected the humans to gather in large groups to surrender. Instead, the cities emptied. People disappeared into subway tunnels, abandoned buildings, and the wilderness beyond the urban areas. The aliens found themselves occupying empty streets. "Where did they go?" Commander H asked as he studied reports from the ground teams. "Our sensors show millions of life signs, but we cannot locate organized resistance forces." "They are hiding like insects," On replied. "Send patrols into the underground areas, flush them out." But the humans were not just hiding. In the ruined subway tunnels beneath Denver, Sergeant Danny Cooper crouched next to a pile of military equipment that had been smuggled into the city before the invasion. Around him, 30 volunteers checked their weapons and explosives. "The aliens think they control the surface," Danny told his team. "Let's show them what happens when you try to control a city full of angry humans." Among his volunteers was Dr. Kate Miller, a biochemist who had been working on a secret project in her basement laboratory. She carried a backpack full of chemical weapons designed specifically to target alien biology. "Their breathing apparatus filters out most toxins," Kate explained to the group. "But I found something they can't handle. It attacks their nervous system through skin contact." Frank, a former NASA engineer, had rigged a communication system using old radio equipment that the aliens couldn't detect. "I've got contact with resistance cells in 8 other cities," he reported. "Everyone's ready to move." The first coordinated attack came at dawn. Across the occupied cities, human resistance fighters struck at the same time. They hit alien supply convoys, communication arrays, and isolated patrol groups. The attacks were brief and savage, then the humans melted back into their hiding places. In Tokyo, Colonel led a team of former soldiers through the city's vast underground shopping complexes. They had turned the maze of tunnels and basement levels into a fortress that the aliens couldn't map or control. "The enemy expects us to fight like regular armies," told her lieutenant. "They want us to line up in formation so they can destroy us with their superior weapons. Instead, we fight like ghosts." Her team emerged from a sewer grate behind an alien checkpoint and destroyed it with homemade explosives. Before the enemy reinforcements arrived, the humans had vanished back into the underground. They tried to adapt. They sent soldiers into the tunnels and basements, but the humans knew every passage and hiding spot. Alien patrols found themselves ambushed in dark corridors, their advanced weapons useless in close combat. "This is not how warfare is supposed to work," Commander H complained to his superior. They do not follow proper military protocols. They attack civilians and soldiers alike. They use their own children as messengers and spies. Fleet Commander On studied the casualty reports. His forces were losing soldiers every day, but they could not find the main human army to destroy it. Perhaps there is no main army, he realized. Perhaps every human is a soldier. Deep beneath Cheyenne Mountain, General Susan Brooks worked in a facility that the aliens had not yet discovered. The mountain's thick rock walls blocked their sensors, allowing her team to operate in secret. "How is Project coming along?" she asked Dr. Carl, the lead scientist on the Alien Technology Research Program. Carl looked tired but excited. "We've made a breakthrough, General. The alien power systems are incredibly advanced, but they're also standardized. Every ship, every weapon, every piece of equipment uses the same basic energy source." "What does that mean for us?" "It means if we can figure out how to disrupt their power systems, we can shut down their entire operation at once." Working alongside Carl was Monica Clark, a systems engineer who had been reverse engineering captured alien computers. "Their technology is impressive," she said, "but it's designed for fighting other high-tech civilizations. They're not prepared for enemies who use low-tech solutions." Above ground, the alien occupation forces struggled with problems they had never encountered. Human resistance fighters would strike a target, then disappear into crowds of civilians. They could not tell who was a fighter and who was an innocent bystander. In New York, a group of teenagers led by a boy named Billy had turned the city's abandoned subway system into a supply network. They moved weapons, food, and information through tunnels that connected to resistance cells across the city. "The aliens are really bad at this," Billy told his friend Emma as they crawled through a maintenance tunnel. "They keep sending patrols to the same places where we ambushed them yesterday." Emma carried a bag of homemade explosives that her grandfather, a former demolitions expert, had taught her to make. "They're too used to fighting other aliens," she said. "They don't know how to fight regular people who refuse to give up." The psychological warfare was as important as the physical attacks. The humans left graffiti messages for the alien soldiers. "You are not welcome here. Earth belongs to humans. Go home or die." Dr. Kate Miller's chemical weapons proved especially effective. Alien soldiers would find their equipment contaminated with substances that made their skin burn and their vision blur. They began to fear touching anything in the human cities. The medical teams could not understand why their soldiers were getting sick. The human chemical attacks were unlike anything in their database of known weapons. "Request immediate medical support," the alien field commander transmitted to the fleet. "Our forces are being affected by unknown biological agents." The response was not encouraging. "No additional medical personnel available. Adapt to local conditions." Sergeant Danny Cooper's cell achieved their biggest success when they captured an alien supply depot. The warehouse contained food, medical supplies, and equipment meant to support the occupation forces. "This is better than Christmas," Frank said as he examined the alien technology. "Look at this communication device. If we can figure out how it works, we might be able to listen to their radio traffic." Dr. Kate Miller found something even more valuable: medical supplies that revealed detailed information about alien biology. "Now I can make weapons that are even more effective," she said with a grim smile. The occupation that was supposed to last 20 days had now stretched on for 8 months. They controlled the landing zones around their ships, but they could not control the cities or the people. Fleet Commander On sent increasingly desperate reports to his superiors. "Human resistance continues. Casualties mounting. Require massive reinforcement to complete occupation." The response was always the same: use existing forces, complete mission. But On was beginning to understand that the mission might be impossible. The humans were not fighting like a conquered people. They were fighting like a people who would rather die than surrender. And that was something the Empire had never learned how to defeat. Dr. Carl stared at the alien device on his workbench with tired but excited eyes. After 8 months of work, his team had finally cracked the communication system. The small crystal box hummed with energy as it connected to the alien fleet's main network. "General Brooks, you need to see this," Carl called out in the underground laboratory beneath Cheyenne Mountain. General Susan Brooks hurried over to Carl's workstation. On the screen, translated alien messages scrolled past in green text. What she read made her heart race with hope for the first time in months. "They're not just fighting us," she said, reading the intercepted communications. "Look at these reports. They are fighting wars on 6 different star systems. They're spread too thin." Monica Clark, working at the next computer station, pulled up more intercepted data. "Here's something even better, General. Earth was supposed to be a quick victory. They plan to conquer us in 20 days and move their fleet to fight something called the Alliance." "What's the Alliance?" General Brooks asked. "From what I can tell, it's a group of species that have been fighting for years," Monica explained. "And they're winning." In the asteroid belt, Captain Julia Barnes commanded a small fleet of human ships built from salvaged alien technology and scrap metal. Her vessels looked nothing like the sleek warships, but they had one advantage. They were designed by humans who had learned to think like their enemy. "Target the command ship's communication array," Julia ordered her weapons officer. "We hit them fast and get out before they can respond." Her flagship, the Earth's Revenge, darted between floating chunks of rock as alien patrol ships tried to track it. The human vessel's hull was covered with asteroid fragments that confused the enemy sensors. "Direct hit on their communications," reported Lieutenant Dan. "They can't call for backup." "Good, now let's show them what humans do to invaders." The attack lasted only 10 minutes, but it destroyed 3 alien patrol ships and captured a transport full of supplies. The human fleet vanished back into the asteroid field before enemy reinforcements could arrive. Back on Earth, Dr. Kate Miller's resistance cell had grown from 30 people to over 300. Her chemical weapons had evolved too, becoming more effective with each batch she created in hidden laboratories across the city. "The aliens are starting to wear protective suits all the time now," she told Sergeant Danny Cooper as they planned their next attack. "But I've developed something that eats through their suit material." Danny smiled grimly. "How long before it takes effect?" "About 10 minutes after contact. By the time they realize what's happening, it's too late." Frank had expanded his communication network to connect resistance cells on every continent. His radios, built from pre-digital components, remained invisible to alien detection systems. "I've got reports from resistance leaders in 50 cities," Frank told the group. "Everyone's ready for the big push. We just need the signal from General Brooks." That signal came in the form of critical intelligence. Dr. Carl's team had located the aliens' primary command station, a massive ship in orbit that coordinated all ground operations. "If we can take out that command ship, their entire occupation force will be blind and deaf," General Brooks explained to her staff. "But it won't be easy. The ship has heavy shields and weapons." "What about a coordinated attack?" suggested Colonel Peters, her chief of staff. "Hit them from multiple directions at once." "That's exactly what we're going to do," Brooks replied. "Ground forces will attack their landing sites to draw their attention. Captain Barnes will hit them from space with her fleet, and will use a captured alien transport to get our people aboard their command ship." The plan was risky and required perfect timing. Any mistake would mean the destruction of Earth's remaining military forces. Admiral Rick Hayes, who had survived the early space battles, volunteered for the most dangerous part of the mission. "My ship can ram their command vessel if necessary," he told General Brooks. "Sometimes you have to sacrifice a queen to win the chess game." The attack began at dawn. Across Earth, resistance fighters emerged from their hiding places and struck at alien positions simultaneously. In Denver, Sergeant Danny Cooper led his enlarged force against the main alien landing site. In Tokyo, Colonel's underground army attacked enemy supply lines. In New York, teenager Billy and his subway runners disrupted alien communications throughout the city. The simultaneous attacks created chaos among the forces. Their commanders, trained for organized warfare, could not respond effectively to hundreds of small attacks happening at once. In space, Captain Julia Barnes led her mixed fleet of human ships toward the alien command station. Her vessels used every trick they had learned, flying inside asteroid clouds, using captured alien technology, and coordinating attacks in ways the enemy couldn't predict. "All ships, this is Barnes. Remember, we don't need to destroy them. We just need to keep them busy while our people get aboard." The space battle was fierce but brief. Human ships, built for hit-and-run tactics, danced around the massive alien vessel like wasps attacking a bear. Their weapons couldn't seriously damage the command ship, but they kept its attention focused outward. That was exactly what Major Ben Casey needed. Leading a team of Marines in a captured alien transport, he approached the command ship from its blind spot. The aliens, focused on the space battle, didn't notice one more transport among the dozens flying around their vessel. "We're docking now," Casey reported. "Prepare for close combat." The Marines aboard the transport were equipped with Dr. Kate Miller's latest chemical weapons and Frank's communication jammers. They cut through the alien ship's hull and poured into the corridors. The fighting inside the command ship was brutal. They had superior weapons, but the humans had superior motivation. They fought through corridor after corridor, heading for the ship's main control center. Meanwhile, Alex, a computer specialist on Casey's team, hacked into the alien computer systems using techniques Monica Clark had developed. "I'm in their network," he reported, "downloading everything I can find." The information Alex found was invaluable. Fleet positions, troop strengths, and most importantly, communications with the home fleet. "General Brooks, you need to hear this," Alex transmitted to Earth. "They are pulling back from 3 other star systems. They're in full retreat everywhere except here." General Brooks realized what this meant. They can't afford to lose any more ships. This isn't just about conquering Earth anymore. This is about the survival of their empire. Admiral Rick Hayes made the final sacrifice of the battle. As Major Casey's team fought to escape the alien command ship, Hayes rammed his vessel into the station's main weapon array. The explosion crippled the alien ship and allowed the human fleet to retreat safely. The battle was over, but its effects rippled across the galaxy. The Empire, which had seemed unstoppable, was now in full retreat on multiple fronts. Earth had not only survived the invasion, but had dealt the enemy a blow from which they might never recover. In his final transmission, Admiral Hayes had said simply, "Earth sends its regards." Fleet Commander On, his command ship crippled and his forces scattered, finally understood what his empire was really fighting. Not just humans, but the idea that some species would rather die than surrender. And that idea was spreading to every world that had ever conquered. Fleet Commander On stood in the ruins of his command center, looking at reports that told the story of his empire's greatest defeat. Half his fleet was destroyed or damaged beyond repair. His ground forces were trapped in human cities they could not control. Worst of all, word of Earth's resistance was spreading to other conquered worlds. "Sir, we're receiving transmission from the High Command," his communications officer reported. The holographic image of Supreme Admiral K appeared in the center of the ruined bridge. The alien leader's 6 eyes showed barely controlled anger as he studied the damage around On. "Explain this disaster," K demanded. unstraightened his uniform, knowing his career was over. The humans are unlike any species we have encountered. They do not follow conventional military doctrine. They fight with their entire population, not just their armies. You had superior technology, superior numbers, superior firepower. How could you fail? Because they are willing to die to protect their world, On replied. And that makes them more dangerous than any weapon we possess. On Earth, President sat in the emergency command bunker beneath Washington, studying the peace proposal that had arrived from the fleet. Around the table sat the military leaders who had fought the underground war, General Susan Brooks, the surviving resistance commanders, and Dr. Carl. They want to negotiate, President said, reading from the alien document. They're offering to withdraw their forces in exchange for a guarantee that Earth won't share our military technology with their other enemies. General Brooks laughed bitterly. After 8 months of occupation, they want to make a deal. What's our leverage? Dr. Carl answered that question. According to the intelligence we gathered from their command ship, the Empire is collapsing. They're fighting wars on 12 fronts and losing most of them. Earth was supposed to be an easy victory that would free up their forces for more important battles. Instead, we tied up their fleet for 8 months and destroyed half of it, added Captain Julia Barnes, who had been promoted after her successful space operations. President made her decision. We negotiate, but from a position of strength. They leave our solar system completely. They share their faster-than-light technology with us, and they agree to mutual defense treaties with Earth and our allies. The negotiations took place aboard a neutral space station that the humans had captured and converted into a meeting point. Fleet Commander On, representing the Empire, sat across from President and her team. Your terms are unacceptable, On said. We cannot share our most advanced technology with a species that has proven so aggressive. President smiled coldly. Commander, let me explain something about humans. We didn't start this war, but we're very good at finishing fights. Your empire is welcome to test that theory if you prefer. Dr. Maria Santos, now promoted to head of the Institute, presented evidence of humanity's rapid advancement. In 8 months, we've reverse-engineered your power systems, your weapons technology, and your communication networks. Give us another year, and we'll have our own faster-than-light ships. And when we do, added Admiral Jake, who now commanded Earth's new deep space fleet, the first thing we're going to do is visit all those worlds your empire has conquered. I think they'd be very interested in learning how a primitive species defeated the mighty fleet. The threat was clear. Earth could become the spark that ignited rebellion across the entire empire. The aliens had 2 choices: make a deal with humanity or face the collapse of their civilization. 3 days later, the fleet began its withdrawal from Earth's solar system. As part of the treaty, they left behind technical manuals, star charts, and most importantly, the knowledge needed to build faster-than-light engines. Captain Tony Blake, the hero of the lunar battles who had somehow survived his suicide mission with severe injuries, now commanded humanity's first interstellar exploration vessel. The ship was a hybrid of human engineering and alien technology, designed for long-range missions beyond the solar system. Earth Control, this is the requesting permission for departure, Tony reported from his ship's bridge. Permission granted, Captain Blake, came the reply from the new Space Command Center. Good hunting out there. The engines, based on captured technology but improved with human modifications, engaged with a low hum. The ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, carrying humanity's first ambassador to the stars. On Earth, the changes continued. Dr. Kate Miller's research into alien biology had led to medical breakthroughs that benefited both species. Frank's communication networks became the foundation for a new global information system. The resistance fighters who had fought in the underground war became the leaders of Earth's new unified government. Sergeant Danny Cooper, now promoted to colonel, trained the first generation of human space marines. His experience fighting aliens in the tunnels beneath Denver had taught him valuable lessons about asymmetric warfare that he passed on to his students. "Remember," he told the young soldiers, "advanced technology is useless if the enemy doesn't use it smartly. Always be willing to think outside the box." In the Empire, the effects of Earth's resistance continued to spread. On the conquered world of 442b, the native population staged their first uprising in decades, using tactics they had learned from intercepted human communications. On Rigel 7, the crystal farmers Danny Cooper had heard mentioned in early intelligence reports declared independence from rule. Their message to the galaxy was simple: if humans can defeat the Empire, so can we. Supreme Admiral K watched his empire crumble from his flagship, reading reports of rebellions on 15 worlds. The Alliance, emboldened by Earth's success, had launched their largest offensive in years. "Update the Galactic database," he ordered his aide. "Species classification for the humans of Sol 3. "What classification, sir?" Kay thought about the small blue planet that had brought down his empire. "Class 10, dangerous when threatened. Recommend diplomatic contact only. Warning, this species treats survival as a non-negotiable principle." The aide paused in his typing. "Sir, Class 10 is reserved for species capable of interstellar warfare." "Exactly," Kay replied. "Add a special note. Do not underestimate based on apparent technological level. This species weaponizes everything, including their own lives." Back on Earth, President stood in the new United Nations building, looking up at the night sky through the transparent dome. Among the stars, she could see the lights of human ships heading out to explore the galaxy. "What are you thinking about?" asked General Brooks, joining her at the observation deck. "I'm thinking about a message we should send to every species in the galaxy," replied. "Earth is open for trade, diplomacy, and friendship, but any species that thinks humans are easy targets should remember what happened to the Empire." In the distance, construction crews worked on humanity's first, a massive structure that would serve as the home port for Earth's growing interstellar fleet. The base incorporated lessons learned from 8 months of war, redundant systems, hidden weapon emplacements, and multiple escape routes. Humanity had learned that the galaxy was not a peaceful place, but they had also proven that they belonged among the stars, not as conquerors but as a species that would fight to protect what they believed in. The war was over, but humanity's journey to the stars had just begun. And everywhere they went, they carried with them the lesson that had saved their world. Never underestimate the power of people who refuse to surrender.